So this is a video reviewing for the pop quiz, which is not a pop quiz anymore because if you know there's a quiz, it's not a pop quiz, right? So this is a small, tiny quiz that we're having mainly on vocabulary and on stuff that you already know, like graphing. So jumping right in, question 1 on this practice test, you already see the answer right there, but it's this simple. I'll give you a graph and I'll ask you what is the solution. So you look at that graph and what is the answer to that system of equations right there?
-1, -1.
Yeah, this location, which is simply 1 on the x, -1 on the y. So the answer is 1 on the x, -1 on the y. That's your ordered pair. You type that in, hit enter with no spaces between your terms, and that should be correct. Oh, actually, this one's a multiple choice one. All you got to do is select that coordinate 1, -1. Okay, so let's move on to this next question. Number 2. Now you could see all the answers already. I apologize for that. But it says, if solving a system by graphing and you notice that the two lines are parallel, then, forget about reading it, then what? If you know the two lines are parallel, then what?
No solution.
Then there's no solution. So if you look at your options, then there is no solution to the system. Boom, that's your correct one. The x and y values must be the same? Heck no. What the heck? Where did that come from? That's totally false. There's only one solution to the system? No, that's false. If you notice that they're parallel, there's not going to be one solution. There's no solution. There's an infinite amount of solutions? No. None of these are correct? No. So multiple choice, really easy. Isn't that going to be an easy question on tomorrow's quiz?
That's a very easy question.
All right. I hope you guys get that right. Let's jump to a couple more. Again, I apologize for showing the answers, but it says select all true statements when solving a system by graphing. Okay, so you have a system, you want to solve it. Is the first step to rewrite the equation in y equals mx plus b? Yeah,
Yes.
right? So you would pick that one for sure. Because if it's in standard form or in other forms, then you can't really graph it yet. So please change it to y equals mx plus b. That's your first step in solving a system by graphing. Okay, what else? It says the point of intersection is the answer to the system. Heck yeah, that's a true statement, right? Wherever your lines cross, that's going to be the answer to the system. And then over here, it says the first step is to get x by itself. No, that's weird. This last one is also true. It says you can verify that your answer is correct by plugging it into both equations of the system. That's a true statement. Once you find your point of intersection, all you have to do is plug it in to see if it works. Okay. So there's going to be questions like that. Here's another question. A consistent dependent system, what? A consistent dependent system, so you got to visualize what that is. Consistent dependent, that's saying what? What about the lines?
One line is dependent on the other.
One line is dependent right on top of the other line, right? So I'm even just going to do a little sketch for you right here. Imagine you having your XY plane, you have your blue line, then you graph your red line, and it's right on top of it. That's what you call dependent. How many points do they share? Infinitely many points. So it's not that it has no solution. It's not that it has one solution. It's going to have infinitely many solutions. So you would select that one, infinitely many solutions. So I hope you're realizing, man, this quiz is going to be easy. I hope so, because that's going to be your grade in semester 2 so far. Okay. How about an inconsistent system? Well, even before reading your options, just what does an inconsistent system look like? An inconsistent system, what? It doesn't cross. Yeah, they're parallel. So you have two lines that don't cross. That's inconsistent. Now, what do we know about that? That it has no solution. It's not that it has one solution. That would be wrong. It's not that it has infinitely many solutions. That would be wrong. It only has one solution. I mean, no solution, because they do not cross. Okay. So I hope this is helping you get prepared for tomorrow's quiz. Some more questions. How about a consistent independent system? Don't even think about the multiple choice answers. What does a consistent independent system look like? Independent means one. So that means if you were to graph one equation and then you graph the other equation, you will find a point of intersection, which means that it has one answer. So does it have no solution? No. Does it have one solution? Yes. You pick that one, right? Over here it says, has infinitely many? Of course not. So yeah, it's only one solution, a consistent independent. And if you totally blank out, all you got to do is what? All you got to do is look at the board right there next to Carlos. That's his hat right there. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the visuals are right there and everything. So if you blank out, there it is. So we finally get to solving an actual system, all right? Now this one, I'm actually going to have some graph paper for you, so you could actually graph it. I'm just going to sketch it right here. I don't have graph paper on the screen right now. But the bottom one is ready to graph. I'm going to try to be as nice as I can. That's ugly. It's probably not going to work out. Let's see. The bottom one's ready to graph. It crosses at 3, and then I go down 3 over 1, and there's my line. Okay. The top one, I subtract 3x, subtract 3x. I'm going to rewrite this thing. It says y equals minus 3x minus 3. So I'm going to write that down. Y equals minus 3x minus 3. So this one crosses at negative 3, and it's the same slope, right? If you look at that slope, it's negative 3. Look at that slope, it's negative 3. So what does that tell you about these lines?
Parallel.
They're parallel, right? If I were to graph it, it would be like this, perfectly parallel. That's an ugly drawing, I apologize. But these are parallel, which means what is the correct answer? Is it 0, negative 3? Is it no solution? Is it 3, 0, 0, 3, infinitely many solutions? Obviously, if it's parallel, no solution is the correct answer. Okay? Number 8, solve the system. Same deal. Let me actually get some graph paper. Okay, so let's graph this thing. The top equation, we're going to get y by itself by subtracting 2x, rewriting it. It's going to be y equals negative 2x minus 3. So I'm going to give you graph paper on the quiz. You could just rewrite it and then graph it. It crosses at negative 3. From that point, I go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1 and put a dot right there. And I am writing in blue for the first equation. And you could use that pattern backwards. Instead of going down 2 over 1, go backwards 1, up 2, backwards 1, up 2, put a dot right there. And continue to go backwards 1, up 2, backwards 1, up 2. So you could extend it as far as you want. Now, that's the top equation in blue. Now let's do the bottom equation in red. I'm going to add 3x, add 3x. I'm going to rewrite it. It's going to be y equals a positive 3x minus 3. So that one also crosses at minus 3, but instead of going down, I'm going up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, and so on and so on. The bottom line is we're looking for that point of intersection, and that point of intersection is right here, and that location is the coordinate what? What's that coordinate? On the x, what is it?
Negative 3.
On the x, what is it?
Oh, 0.
0, and on the y?
Negative.
Negative 3. So 0, negative 3 is the correct answer. And if you look for those answers right here, 0, negative 3 is not there. 0, positive 3, that's not it. It's none of these are correct. So there will be some that you don't actually have an answer. You have to select none of these are correct. All right?
How many questions is this going to have?
I tell you, 10 to 15, but they're all this simple. You know, let's do a couple more and then we'll be done. So right here, it says solve the system. Once again, you could have graph paper, so it would be good for you guys to graph it. So the top equation, I want to graph it in red. I want to get y by itself. I'm going to have to subtract x. That will be 2y equaling a negative x plus 2. And we're going to have to divide everything by 2 to get that y by itself. So if you divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, your above red equation will be y equals, there's really an invisible 1 right here. So that's really going to be a negative 1/2 with an x on the side plus 2 over 2, that's plus 1. So that top equation crosses at 1, and I do go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2 and put a dot right there. And if you continue to go down 1 over 2, and you could use that pattern backwards to extend it in the other direction, and that is your red line, which is the top equation. Now let's go for the bottom equation in blue. I want to subtract x. I will have the negative y equals negative x plus 2. So that is a negative y equals negative x plus 2. And from there, all I need to do is get rid of that negative in front of the y. Multiply everything by negative 1 or divide everything by negative 1. Either way, you're going to change all the signs, and that'll become a positive y equaling a positive x minus 2. and this is the one that we want to graph. That one crosses at -2, which is right here. And from that b value of -2, it's going to go up 1 over 1 because the m value is 1. So you go up 1 over 1 and put a dot there. And you're going to continue to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And you could use that pattern backwards. Anyways, you have that line. Where do they intersect? Right there at that location.
1, 0.
The correct answer is 2, 0.
Oh, sí, cierto.
Yeah, 2, 0. So, of course, if you wanted to, you could double check by plugging in the x of 2 and the y of 0. It will give you a true statement. If you plug in x being 2 and y being 0, it'll give you a true statement. One more and then we're done. Solve the system. Let's rewrite it in slope-intercept form. Top equation plus x. We will have y equals x minus 1. And the bottom equation, let's subtract x, and you're going to end up with y equals -x plus 3. So if we were to graph this, so the top equation in red crosses at -1, and it does go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and you could use that pattern backwards. There's your red line. And the bottom one crosses at 3, and it goes down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and you'll see that they intersect right at this location of 2, 1, 2, 1.
That's the answer.
That's the answer, 2, 1.